This conference will now be recorded.
All right. Hello. Thank you so much for taking the time to sit with me and do this. I'm really grateful.
You're
Um,
welcome.
Thank you. If you could please just give your name and what it is that
Uh,
you do.
sorry,
Go ahead.
Drea Stone.
And what do you do, Drea?
I'm a nurse practitioner and a trauma recovery specialist. I specialize in helping clients overcome unhealed trauma and manage the symptoms of complex post-traumatic stress disorder.
So good. I'm so glad that you're on this. So glad that you're on this. All right. So, how did you feel about the EFT clinic that you attended? Because you came in very first time working with me in EFT to my money clinic that I hosted. And I'm curious about how did you feel about your relationship to abundance and money before the clinic? So before you came in that weekend, what was going on?
Before the clinic, I would say that whenever I thought about money, I immediately felt anxious. I grew up in coming from a place of lack all the time where we were just surviving in our home. And so that mindset just kind of carried over from childhood to adulthood for me.
Okay. Um, so what was your biggest tangible win from the money clinic? Like tangible, physical, you could immediately see it from the money clinic.
That my belief system changed immediately. My belief system about money and the negative, I don't know the right word, the negative feelings that money brought up in me. For my whole life, I'm almost 50 years old. So it was amazing to see that I could change my mindset that quickly with the clinic and the tapping.
Isn't that crazy? That's so wild.
Hmm
So it's so wild. I do this and I'm like, whoa, every time. It's like an immediate, like every time. It doesn't fail.
Yeah, it's
What would
amazing.
what would you say was your biggest intangible win? Like something that you kind of realized afterwards. Like I feel like that belief shift really happened for you during the clinic, but maybe like afterwards some other things that you noticed that came about.
I just noticed I felt lighter all day, all weekend actually. Actually, since the money clinic, I felt lighter. I don't have the anxiety. I remember after the first day, I went out to lunch with a friend. I went and bought myself some shoes. And it was like I didn't even care when I used my card. Now, every time I've used my debit card in the past, it's always this fear of, should I be spending this? Will I ever have enough money? Like, it's just, and I'm not somebody that, lives paycheck to paycheck. So it's really an irrational fear that I've
Mhm.
been having.
Mhm.
So just feeling so much lighter.
That's awesome. That's amazing. I love that. So what if anything surprised you? What was like your biggest surprise from this clinic? Can't wait for this.
My biggest surprise was you just unlocking this mystery for me. I can't say this enough. I don't even know you. You know, I just met you briefly a couple weeks ago at a meeting and signed up for your class. So this is coming from a legit space in my life. What I'm saying is the fact that you validated me and said that my success has caused me to lose people in my life um, due to jealousy or other issues. And just the fact that you said my success has been a curse at times, I was able to accept that. I
Mm,
can accept it now. Where before I thought it was something I wasn't doing enough. I couldn't give enough money away. I couldn't people please. I couldn't buy enough. When you said your success has been a curse at times, financial success, it just hit me like a ton of bricks. And that's why I started crying during the meeting. It was very powerful for me.
massive, massive. Yeah, that's the ability to see the in between is really what I strive to do because I know that
Mhm.
people coming here, they you know your story, but there's also layers beneath the story that sometimes we miss because we're kind of on this
Yeah.
one track, right? About our story. So yeah, that was a really powerful moment for me also to share with you. So I appreciate your openness and your vulnerability because it was really powerful. What was the most
Absolutely.
exciting moment of this experience for you? What was like the most, you would say, exciting or notable highlight?
I think the most exciting part for me was other people speaking up about their vulnerabilities, because I do have to do that all the time with my situation, and it makes me feel like an outsider at times. So I don't want to give the specifics, but when a woman told her story about some judgments that she had around finances and everything, it just touched me so much, because I was like, I love to see people healing and
Hmm.
people being vulnerable and
Hmm.
people letting their emotional guard down. Several people in the group were crying both days, and it was just, that whole thing was so meaningful to me. Each of us holding space, each of us respecting each other's history and our issues with money, and it was just amazing.
So good. So good. Would you recommend these clinics, these EFT clinics, or working with EFT with me in general? And who do you think would be perfect for this kind of work?
Absolutely, 10 stars. I would totally work with you. Anybody working with you. As a matter of fact, this morning on my way to the gym, I usually listen to hype music. It's probably an 18-minute drive, and I just started tapping. And the whole drive is like, I'm not going to listen to music. I'm just going to start tapping. Um, but I think the the person, well, obviously you have the education and the training. I had heard about tapping before, and I've used it in cases of bringing down anxiety with the trauma, but never to the extent of what you provided. So I think having a qualified and educated practitioner is the most important thing. For example, a lot of therapists do not work with trauma or domestic violence or narcissistic abuse like I do. So there's probably a lot of practitioners, but they aren't on the level that you are on compared to what I've seen.
I really appreciate that because it's a sensitive subject matter working with trauma and people come from therapy background and they expect more therapy and that's not what we do in these spaces. This is really about like moving and healing, and owning and being able to step into that and be free, really be free. That's like my big goal, is to hold space for you so that you can become free and you don't have to carry this around, for the rest of your life. So
Hmm.
that really touches my heart, and it's really meaningful to hear you specifically knowing your story and knowing where you came from and what you do for people. That's really really valuable. So I'm really touched by that. It's making me teary eyed.
I meant
So
every word of it.
thank you. Thank you. Well, that's like all my questions for you. I am so grateful you took the time to do this. Thank you so much.
Yes, absolutely. I wish I would have closed my closet door.